In this video, I am going to show you how to divide fractions, and we'll take a picture-based approach so you can visualize the process a little more clearly. Alright, so where do we begin? And here you also get a chance to practice drawing pictures well. Say we have the following. We'll begin with a rectangle that looks like this. Okay, so you have a little rectangle that looks like this, okay? I think we can all handle a rectangle. Here we are. And let the rectangle here represent number 1. Okay, there we are. Then what we can do is we can take our one rectangle and we can split it into 2 equal pieces. So what we have then is 1/2. So it looks like this. Okay, so this is the whole thing. And then we've split it into 2 equal pieces. Here we are, and of course each piece then is a half. So we have this. But we don't have to stop here, which means we can do the following. We can take our 1/2 of a rectangle and we can split that further until we get this here. So it looks like this, okay? So what have we done? We've taken the original 1, we've split that first into halves, and now each of these halves will be split into a quarter, so that it looks like this. This is our 1/4. Then of course this will be the next, this will be the next, and this will be the next. Okay. So based on this example, perhaps the observation we can make is the following. 1 divided by 2 divided further by 2 is the same as 1/4. You see? It's 1/4. As you've seen here, using a little sequence of pictures, step by step by step. So let's take a look at another example using different numbers. And here, just to emphasize things, I will color code them a little. So this you may color code as green, for example. And I would suggest you have some colored markers with you. They really are helpful in terms of bringing your attention to where it needs to be at a given moment. There we are. Okay. So we see 1/2, a half, and then the half split further into a quarter and a quarter. Okay. With this in place, and notice that when you draw these shapes, do not change the size of the shapes, or you're just completely changing the whole problem, so to speak. Okay. So whenever you draw a picture, you've got to draw it very carefully and very well. That is a skill you may have to learn. Okay, let's take a look at the next example here. So I will go with something similar. Let's see, maybe we'll use a pie this time. Okay, so here's a pie. So this will be our number 1, 1 whole pie. And the first step is this time we'll take our 1 pie and we'll split it into 3 pieces. So as we redraw the pie, split it into 3 pieces. It gives you a little piece symbol. I did not do that very well, unfortunately, but the idea is 3 pieces, okay? There we are. And then shade one of these pieces. There we are. Okay, that's our 1/3 of the pie. And now the next step, what we will do is we will take our 1/3 and split that further into 2 pieces, which then means we have our pie. First we divided it into 3 equal pieces, and now we are taking each piece and dividing it further still. so to speak. Okay, see this? There we are. And now let's bring our attention to the step, which means we highlight one of these. So what we have is 1/3 divided by 2. Just by counting, you can tell that that's got to be equal to 1 out of 6, right? 1 blue out of 6 altogether. So this means now we have 1 out of 6. So now that we've looked at 2 examples, the next step is to try to think about this in more general terms. And the more general terms look like this. 1 over A divided by B is the same as 1 over A times B. Okay? So if you look back at these examples, you can tell that, for example, 1/4 is the same as 1 over 2 times 2. We just moved that 2 down to the bottom. Okay? 1/3 over 2 is the same as 1 over 3 times 2, which is the same as 1 out of 6. So you multiply the 3 and the 2 together, and that gives you the 6. And the general principle is 1 over A divided by B is the same as 1 over A times B. But don't forget that in all of these operations, what you are doing is essentially repeatedly splitting things into smaller and smaller pieces in this case. Okay? Of course, it can depend on the numbers and what have you, but in this case, right, we have a 1 up top and something bigger below it, and then you would be making things smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay? Thank you for watching.